Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel Coffee Talk with True Blonde Mom. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have my coffee in hand. Today it's going to be iced coffee because right now in North Carolina it is beautiful, probably 68 degrees outside. The sun is shining and it is actually warm enough for the air condition to be on, if you can believe that, in March. But the last few days it's been freezing cold, so I haven't really had a desire for iced coffee until today, but this is it. I bought this reusable container last summer. I just thought it looked fun at Target, and I have used it ever since. And you know, this is a great way to save money. You don't have to run to Starbucks and get your iced coffee. I just buy whatever iced coffee or whatever cold brew is on sale at the grocer, and I add whatever I want to. Sometimes it's milk, sometimes it's almond milk, oat milk, half and half. Sometimes I use sugar-free vanilla syrup. Today I used what was left of the coffee creamer. It was almost out. It was vanilla. And then I added a little lactose-free milk in it. And so I fill it about there with coffee and the rest with my little ingredients. Put some ice in it, stir it up, and it is so delicious. Refreshing. I know a lot of people don't like iced coffee, but I find it delicious, and I didn't always feel that way, so give it a try if you're one of those people that's kind of like on the fence, or you think coffee just has to be hot, because there is a gazillion different ways you can make this with different syrups and different coffee creamers that you can buy, and it is just so delicious. So that being said, let's get into today's video. I have decided to do a 3-part series on stress because I think the last year of our lives has been extremely stressful. And I think that in general, people do not really know oftentimes how to truly manage stress. You hear a lot about it. We know all the damaging effects that stress has in our lives. It can cause physical, emotional issues. It can cause long-term health problems. And of course, we know it leads to a lot of mental health issues such as anxiety and depression. And so it's really important that we get a handle on the stress in our life. And that doesn't happen by osmosis. It doesn't happen because we're, pretty intelligent individuals and know how to do it. We have to learn skills to manage our stress. And again, in my years of doing counseling with people, I've learned that not everybody really knows how to do that. I do have a ring light, and I can see that this is being shown in my glasses. That's hilarious. I don't know how to fix that. This is my brand new phone that I am taping on today. So it may require some adjustments. Give me a second. And I apologize for that glare, but I cannot see without my readers, so please forgive me. Maybe I'll learn something better in the future. I'm just glad I got to figure out this phone because it's so different than what I've had before. So what I'm going to do for the next 3 videos is I'm going to have a 3-part series on ways to reduce stress and increase your quality of life. And I'm going to have 25 tips each time. So I'm going to try and go through these fairly quickly, but pause on the things that I feel like I need a little bit more focus. So let's get right into today's video. The first thing that you can do to help reduce your stress is something pretty simple that you've probably heard before, and that is get up 15 minutes earlier than normal. Now, I'm going to go as far to say that 15 minutes for me does not do a whole lot. I have to get up way earlier. Like, I start work at 8:30. I do work from home, but I get up at 6 o'clock every morning. Whether I have to do a full shower with the hair wash, whether I do just a body shower without the hair wash, either way, I have a lot to do before my day starts at work. I have to feed 2 dogs. I have to let them out. I have to feed a cat. I have to get me going. I have to have coffee. I need breakfast. I need time to straighten my desk and check my email, even though we have 30 minutes really to check email when we start our day. But I just feel like there's things that I need to do to start my day to make it more effective and productive. I may make my bed. Some days I do that. But I don't like being rushed. And I don't think anybody does. And when we're in a rush and we feel like, oh my God, I'm going to be late, you're under that stress, trying to be on time, trying to start on time, it just sets yourself up for a very difficult day. And your body recognizes that sensation as stress. And so from that, you can have headaches, you can develop high blood pressure, all sorts of physical manifestations. So getting up earlier than 15 minutes is ideal because, again, unless you don't have a lot to do in the morning, I have a whole lot to do. When my daughter goes to school 2 days a week, I have to make her lunch. So for me, 2.5 hours gives me plenty of time. Sometimes I have a chance to throw a load of laundry in or unload the dishwasher or maybe start dinner or get dinner halfway prepared, just whatever the case is. But I know for me, if I waited until, say, 7:30 and had an hour, that would not be a good thing. So it's very subjective, but basically the bottom line is get up earlier than normal. Give yourself extra time so you have time to kind of take a deep breath and enjoy the morning. This isn't about just getting up and rushing to the finish line to get to work. It is about you taking time to enjoy every morning that you have because it is a gift. And I want you to look at it that way. Number 2, set appointments ahead and double log appointments. And what does that mean? Well, that means when you make an appointment, depending on your method, I use both methods. I use it on my phone and I also put it in a hardbound calendar that my life depends on. I love that thing. I keep information there about what bills are due. And I definitely put my appointments there. So for me, I double log them. The reason I do that is because phones are funny. Phones have been known to make certain appointments disappear. So I like to put them on my phone, but I also like to put them in a hardbound copy. You may not feel necessary to do that, but I feel like it's necessary to do that for me and my own peace of mind. And it allows me to kind of go back if I start questioning, oh, when does my daughter have that dental appointment? Oh, okay, well, it's not showing on my phone. Let me check my calendar. And so it takes away a lot of stress because I know that if there's an appointment, I have written it down in more than one place. Number 3 is look at problems as challenges. And that is going to be a very difficult thing to hear. And pause for just a moment because I'm going to turn this light off and see if that takes away the glare on my glasses. Again, I'm new to technology, people. Oh, that's a different filter, but it still shows the ring. I'm so sorry. Okay, we're going to go with that. That's much better, isn't it? So looking at your problems as your challenge, that means that, our mindset is extremely important. And if we look at problems that we have to deal with as problems, then that kind of has a negative spin on it. But when we look at it as opportunities or challenges, it changes our mindset and it actually produces our, endorphins to where we can better think and better problem solve. So it's really important that you don't label all the things that you have to deal with as problems, but rather as challenges. Number 4, say something nice to someone. Who doesn't like to hear something nice? One thing I have learned in my current job is that it is full of positive comments. They really want you to be positive and praise your teammates and praise people that you're on these Zoom trainings with and just give them props and put it in the chat. I've never worked for a company like that before. And I can tell you that it definitely changes the entire morale of the workforce, and it makes it a positive place to work rather than maybe a toxic place to work, because people love to hear good things. People love to be praised. And here's a side note: if you want to really align with someone and make them your friend and your ally, say something positive to them. I know in my training as a counselor, one of the things we often did was when I was in school was practice icebreaker techniques, and they all had to be focused on something positive. So, you looked at the person in front of you and you came up with something positive to say about them. And again, everybody likes to hear things positive about themselves. So it's a great way to start a conversation. It's a great way to break bad news to people by saying something positive first, or even in a request, such as taking time off or you're needing some help with something. Say something positive first. Get that other person in a positive mind frame. Let them feel good for a second. Then introduce to them whatever it is you need to say and see if the outcome isn't different. Number 5 is schedule playtime into every day. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Doesn't mean that you have to have a child to play. If you have a dog, you can play with your dog. If you don't have a dog, that's fine. Find something playful to do every day. Again, this all goes back to having a good, positive mindset. It may just involve going outside and sitting in the sun, or throwing a ball in the air, or playing with a friend outside, something along those lines. But find a way to incorporate some play. Even something like trivia online. I love trivia. I used to do Quiz Up a lot. I think they got rid of that app, but there's other ones out there. There's lots of games. I'm not really a game player, but I do love trivia. And so I try and play that every now and again. But I do have 2 dogs that I play with every day. And of course I have 2 older children here that keep me pretty busy, but it's important to put play into your day. Otherwise it would be kind of a boring day, right? So make sure that you take some time out every day for something playful. Number 6, try and reduce your debt. Of course, that's a pretty simple concept. Working on reducing debt is definitely going to eliminate a lot of stress in your life. Even if you're not at the finish line, it's okay. Just as long as you're working towards that goal, as long as you've established some plans and you're working towards it, that is going to significantly reduce your stress level. Number 7, quit trying to fix other people. Quit trying to fix other people. How many of us do this? I have always been a people pleaser. I have always been one that wants to fix problems. I went into a profession to help people with their problems. And there's something about me, I don't know what it is, but this has been going on since I was in college. I remember going out with friends in college and all of a sudden people would just like come to me and start telling me their problems. And that still happens to this day. If I go out to hear a band or something and I'm at the bar with a friend, somebody will come up and just start unloading on me. I don't know what it is about me. I had an old roommate in college. He says, "Beth, you have this halo and it just draws people." And I'm like, really? Okay. But people do. They've always told me their problems, and sometimes all I do is listen. Sometimes I might give something creative back or a suggestion, but for the most part, I don't try and fix people because I know that only people themselves can fix themselves. But if someone needs a shoulder to lean on or they just need to vent, I can take that. I'm pretty thick-skinned when it comes to stuff, so I don't mind being that person, being that sounding board, but it's important to not try and fix people. When you do that, you take on the responsibility of whatever outcome is going to happen, and that is not a healthy mindset, and that definitely will put a lot of stress in your life. So be careful about that. We have to learn parameters, we have to learn boundaries in order to have good mental health. So if that's something you struggle with, definitely put a lot of effort into realizing you can't really fix anybody, and it's not your job to do so. Number 8, freely praise other people. That kind of goes back to number 4 about saying nice to someone, praise somebody. We all love to hear praise. It is wonderful, and it just totally changes the tone of a conversation or work experience. Try saying something positive. It will put you at ease, and you'll feel good and they feel good, so it's a win-win situation. Number 9, practice deep breathing. Deep breathing is a very well-known strategy for managing anxiety. If you find yourself in a very acute stress situation, a lot of times you'll hyperventilate because your breathing's so heavy. So it's really important that you slow your breathing down. And this is something that I actually taught my daughter when she was 3 years old, because she had a lot of pain at that age. And at 3, they don't have the cognitive ability to really do a whole lot in terms of problem solving when they're in pain. So I taught her how to deep breathe. And to this day, she still utilizes that skill. She does struggle with some anxiety. And when she finds herself kind of approaching a panic moment, she will remember, okay, to deep breathe, and she'll practice that for a brief period of time, and it usually helps. There are some situations it hasn't done that, but it's something worth trying, and it's something that you should incorporate in your life. Learning how to breathe deeply, especially if you're struggling with anxiety, it really can help, and just take it away, no matter what the situation is. I do it. I don't really have anxiety, but I use deep breathing a lot when I find myself getting stressed out. Number 10, have a day off day. Have a day off. What does that mean? That means, say on a Saturday, when we work Monday through Friday, we know that, what do we do on the weekends? We play catch up. We do our house cleaning. We get meals prepared for the next week. We do all that laundry. It's like we're working 7 days a week, because you have to get caught up on the weekends. I know I do. But it's still important to have a day off. And that may mean something as simple as wearing your pajamas all day. You can still cook or clean or do what you need to do, but just do it in a more relaxed fashion. I love to wear my pajamas. Usually at work, I'm in pajama bottoms, maybe not on the top. But I love being in a more relaxed environment at home and where I can be comfortable. So just incorporate that, especially if you're not working at home and you have to, put on the suit and go to work, so to speak. You need the weekend to just relax, be in your loungewear, drink your coffee in a relaxed and linger over your breakfast kind of fashion. Have a day off. Schedule time to take care of the things you need to, but also plan, a couple of hours at least to relax and just be in a relaxed mode. Today was that day for me, except for making this video. I have been in my pajamas all day. I did shower. I did do my makeup, but as soon as this video is over, I'm going to go back to being relaxed in my attire, because for me, that takes the stress away. And I want to be in a relaxed mode, even though I'm cooking and cleaning and doing other things. I love being in that mode because it takes away a lot of mental stress that I feel. And I just feel like it's more like a day off. And it's important to have a day off on your day off. So keep that in mind. Number 11, have a warm, relaxing drink. I do that every morning with coffee. What do you use? Do you drink coffee or tea or hot cocoa? Sometimes we just need something warm and comforting. And that doesn't always have to be in the form of food, but having a warm beverage, especially when it's kind of cold or icky out or rainy, I find myself kind of craving that need to grab something warm and drink it. So that is a very wonderful, easy, affordable stress technique. Take some deep breaths, get a glass of tea or a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, and just kind of ponder and just sit with it, with yourself. So important to take some minutes for ourselves through the day, through the work day, definitely on the weekends when you're not at work. But a warm, relaxing drink can do a lot. Number 12 is do a creative project. Even if you're not crafty, I promise you there's something creative that is inside of you just waiting to come out. So do something fun and creative once in a while, even if it's something very simple. I don't personally, I have a Pinterest account, but I don't get on there often because I find it can kind of be on the runaway train. But I do like to craft with my daughter. She's very crafty, and sometimes she'll come up with something that we can work on together. Sometimes it's just flower arranging. I did not make this beautiful wreath behind me. I wish I could say that I did. I'm not that crafty. But I have a good friend who made that for me. It's beautiful. I love it. I do make wreaths, but I can't do the bow like that. So that's a talent. But I still try and I still do things to please me. And it's a therapeutic technique to do a craft. So find something. Go to Michael's, look around. Go to a craft store, look around. Find something that you're interested in doing and give it a shot. You never know. When I was in college, I took a figure drawing class. I had never drawn anything in my life, and I found that I loved it and it was fun. So you don't have to take a class, but you can find ways to incorporate something creative in your life. And that's really all that's talking about. It helps decrease the stress because you're not thinking about your life. You're not thinking about your problems. You're focused on something that is giving the brain a different type of input. So that's very important. Be a better listener is number 13. Who doesn't need to be a better listener? We all need to listen and not think about our response when people are talking to us. So if that's something that you need to work on, just be okay with being silent. And I know that's hard. That's sometimes hard for me because I am more of a verbal person. But I have learned to not be that way so much. And to be a better listener when I'm not in the professional mode. So work on being a better listener. That will totally decrease your stress. Don't worry about your response to things as much. Just worry about being a listener, because oftentimes that's all people need is a good shoulder, a good ear to listen to them. Number 14 is watch a movie and eat some popcorn. I personally don't watch a lot of movies, and I realized a few years ago the reason why that is because it's hard for me to sit still for 2.5 or 3 hours and watch a movie without thinking about something that needs to get done around the house. However, I will say that when I go to the movie theater, I can totally relax. Sadly, with COVID, our movie theaters are closed, but I do watch movies now, more so. I'm trying to do that with my daughter because I know my time with her is limited before she goes off to college. And so we do watch movies together. And I bought a microwave glass popcorn maker that you can use natural kernels with. I thought that was better than the bag stuff. And so I pop that and we'll watch a movie. And yeah, it's a good time. It's a distraction. Distractions in your life are very, very good for your mental health. So we need to incorporate distractions. That can be a movie, that can be a TV show, that can be music, anything that kind of takes your mind off the present. Number 15 is reach out to a friend that you've lost contact with. Now, we've all got that friend we haven't talked to. It does something for you mentally to connect with another person, especially someone you have a history with, that you felt close to with at one time. And for whatever reason, life happens, we lose contact. Even if it's just a few months. I've got a lot of people that I have worked with in the past that I don't see very much because of the distance that we live from one another. But just today, I reached out to an old friend of mine that I haven't seen probably since last March. Our birthdays are in March and April, and we usually try and get together and celebrate and just go to lunch. But we do talk and text from time to time. But we've been friends for years. We've been friends for probably 25 years at least. And we just know that that's just how it is, right? So nobody gets stressed out or, it's just we reconnect when we can. And I always love reconnecting with people. It's a wonderful thing to do. So if you have a friend that you need to talk to and you feel like, wow, we kind of lost contact, you be the one that reaches out. If they don't respond, that's on them, but at least you've extended the olive branch, right? Number 16, cook a meal and dine by candlelight. I love this idea. That doesn't have to be if you just have a romantic partner. You, if you're alone, can still enjoy dinner by candlelight. Or do it with your kids. When my kids were little, that was what we did every Valentine's. I broke out the 2 candles I got at the Dollar Tree. I lit the candles. And we usually had spaghetti or something that involved red at Valentine's Day. And you know what? It made it very special for them. And they loved it. So don't underestimate the power of some candles at dinner time. We don't do that enough. Give it a try. Number 17, watch or read something funny. Look at it on YouTube. I love to watch comedians on YouTube. I love to watch, there's a couple of people that I enjoy watching. And who doesn't love a good laugh, you know? Laughter is good for the soul. It's good medicine for the brain and for the soul. We don't laugh enough. We worry too much. So find someone that you find that's funny. Watch funny videos. There's so much out there that you can do. I love comedians. I love comedy. And I used to love to watch comedy shows. It's kind of hard to find them now that's really any good. But sometimes I still watch reruns of shows like The King of Queens or Seinfeld. Those were two of my favorites. And they're still funny. So do something to make yourself laugh. Watch something that's funny or read something funny. It helps change your mindset. Number 18 is exercise. Walk, dance, play outdoor games. Do something that involves movement. This is something that I'm currently working on. But even just taking a walk when the weather's nice, getting outside, you know, throwing ball with your neighbor, your child. We have a volleyball net outside and badminton, and I love to play badminton. So when the weather's nice, I like to do that. Or just take a walk. Go to the park and take a walk. That's free. It's good exercise. Gets you outside, gets you some vitamin D. It's also going to do wonders for your stress level and your mindset. Number 19, take a mental health day. I cannot emphasize this enough. I finally work for a company that recognizes the need for mental health days. And we call them vacation days, but we have a lot of them. And the reason we have a lot of them is because they know that science shows that people work harder and they're more productive when they have time away from work. It's not a sign of laziness. It's not a sign of you're not productive or you're not committed. It is necessary to be your best self, to have time away from work. And I remember the first day I took vacation at my current employer, I tried to log on to the computer to do something, like check my email or something, and my boss, it shows when you're online, and my boss at the time messaged me and she says, "You're supposed to be off today." And I was like, "Yeah, I just wanted to check something." And she reminded me that that's not how we do it. I know that's hard to understand because I come from a medical background. She comes from a medical background. That's just not how it works in that field. And people feel the need to contact you whether you're off or not. She said, "But this is very different, and I want you to have a work-life balance." So a work-life balance is extremely important. And I'm so thankful I now work for a company that recognizes that. So take a day for your mental health. I scheduled this past Friday off for myself, and I didn't know it at the time, but I was going to be in an intense training all this past week. So when Friday came, I was like, "Oh, I'm so thankful I planned this day." And now I'm able to go back tomorrow refreshed. I feel good. I don't feel burnt out. I don't feel overwhelmed. Mental health days are important. Now, with that being said, I wouldn't recommend that you get in a habit of calling out sick to take your mental health days, unless it's just the only way you get to. But schedule vacation days. It doesn't have to be like you're going to the Bahamas vacation. Schedule a day that you can just enjoy the day. Do something you want to do. Sleep in. Have a lazy morning. Take your dogs for a nice walk. Go have a coffee with a friend. Make it a day that is all about you. That is what a mental health day is. If you're not a person who wants to get out too much, that's fine. Stay at home, relax, read a book, do whatever you need to do to recharge your batteries. But take that mental health time. It is so, so important for dealing with stress. I think that is all the tips I have for you. I thought I had 20. Okay, maybe not. That was a good one to end on, taking mental health time. I want to say one more thing about stress, and that is we all have stress in our life. There is some good things that stress produces, such as if we're in an unsafe situation, that can be stressful. Stress can cause us to think, so we have to get out of situations that are dangerous. But too much stress, negative emotions, that is the type of thing that ruins our mindsets and can ruin our lives and our health and our emotional well-being. So you definitely want to stay on top of stress. There's a lot of information out there on ways to deal with it. We've heard the basics, which is diet and exercise and take a bubble bath. And, I enjoy bubble baths sometimes too, but I didn't add that in there because that was so cliche. I wanted to give you things that maybe you haven't heard or maybe you haven't thought about. So I'm hoping that these tips gave you some insight into some behaviors and mindsets that you can work on in the future to improve the quality of life you have while decreasing your stress level. Again, this is a part 1 of a 3-part series on dealing with stress in life. I hope that you found this content helpful. If so, would you please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel? Hit the notification bell so you're notified the next time I upload. And until next time, I hope you take very good care of your mental health. Be well, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.